we are proud to announce today, in particular around gun violence.
Hi, yes. I wanted to follow up, with these stats being announced today, maybe the police commissioner, the mayor can answer. How do you balance this idea of perception versus reality in the wake of last week's mass shooting?
I'm sorry, explain that again.
So you're announcing today crime stats that shootings are low, but then you have these high-profile incidents like last week's mass shooting, and it makes people feel like they're not safe. How do you balance that perception versus reality versus what is actually, how people are feeling?
I think it's a combination, and I say this over and over again. People, don't really want to accept it. But where do people get their feelings from? I mean, like when you ask the average person, why do you feel as though the city is not safe, regardless of the remarkable job the police department has done? If it bleeds, it leads. We feed into what people are feeling, and we have to be honest about that. If every day, all day, you're reading about the worst things that can happen in a city of 8.5 million people, you have a tendency to believe that you're unsafe. I mean, we have 4.6 million people that ride our subway every day. 4.6 million. We have an average of 5 felonies a day. That's a remarkable feat by the New York City Police Department, our transit officers. Or look at the 4th of July weekend. I think that weekend, I don't know exact numbers, but I know on the day of 4th of July, we had 1 shooting. Chicago had over 50. Over 50. And so I think that if we would just take time and commend our TA presidents, our auxiliary, our police officers, our crisis management teams, we would just take a moment and realize that this is the safest big city in America. So when you write a story like what happened at 345 Park Avenue, end the sentence with, this is the safest big city in America. And then people will start resonating that we've done a remarkable job. I inherited a city that we had to take 100,000 illegal vehicles off our streets, 23,000 illegal guns. We've invested 100,000 summer youth jobs. We made sure we had a summer rising program with all year education for our children, an internship program. We have our CRED program for justice-involved young people. I've been on Rikers Island more than any man in the history of the city, talking to inmates and correction officers. We've done a good job. So as you report about these shootings, how about just put just a sentence? You don't need 3 sentences. You don't even need a whole paragraph. How about just saying it's still the safest big city in America? Because all of my big cities, when I talk to my mayors, they're dealing with violence. They're dealing with violence. So the question is what can we do to stop the perception? Is that we're going to constantly remind people of how well our partners are doing in law enforcement. But I will ask you to do what Michael Jackson states. Look at the man in the mirror. What are you writing about our city? Start writing nice things about our city and how successful this administration has been.